So, in light of the Disney Fox acquisition deal that's gonna go through this year, uh, Wolverine and the X-Men, they're all coming back home, and Hulu's included in that package deal with it, which is an alternative streaming platform that can include more mature shows for the Marvel Disney. Some people have speculated that the Netflix shows are going to go over there, but this isn't what this is about. I wanted to address something that I kind of talked about a little bit in my Captain America First Avengers review, and it was the idea that, well, let me elaborate first. In there, I had some problems with the race changing. I'm never along with race changing because all it is it's lazy people making a cash grab, taking pre-established characters and trying to appeal to insecure people, trying to validate them, trying to say like, look, we accept you. Now you can accept yourself. It's egotistical people trying to virtue signal and pat themselves on the back, trying to make themselves not look racist and appeal to the largest audience to get more money. And not only does it assault fans of characters that have existed for a very, very long time, pre established characters have a big following, especially if they're very old characters. So race changing them can be a very negative thing, but it's also insulting to the people you're race changing them for because you're not really race changing it for them. You're being lazy. You're not creating an original black character, an original female character, or an original gay character, or an original transgender character. You're taking a pre established character and you're changing them to that to try to draw in a specific type of group while insulting the previous existing group. And you're doing this like, hey, here's representation for you. And that to me is it's very insulting for everybody. Diversity for the sake of diversity, it's basically these people they believe these other groups are inferior. That's the reality. There's a study that shows that these kind of people they change their manner of speaking and stuff when they come around people of color or the opposite sex. They're trying to they're trying to say, hey, look, here's something for free because you can't accomplish this on your own. And every time they do this or whatever, they make that entire character, they usually make that entire character about color or gender, about sexual orientation, the struggle of whatever that is. Uh, like, for instance, if they change, if they change a white character to a black character, they'll make them talk a lot about what it's like to be black. Now, in this instance, this hasn't really happened with Nick Fury, but this is the one character I'm talking about. I I'm a big fan of classic white Nick Fury, the cigar smoking Nick Fury. Uh, but what bothered me in the movie is Captain America: The First Avenger. Nick Fury shows up at the end with no real relevance. It's not only the race change that bothered me, but him showing up with no real relevance to Captain America at the end of the Captain America movie when they could have done something to appeal to both black and white people, to appeal to fans of Ultimate Nick Fury. Well, I'm not going to say to appeal to black and white people because honestly, nobody goes to see a character for the sake of diversity. When have you ever heard somebody say, "Oh man, this movie, this movie had somebody that represented my race in it," or "Oh man, this movie didn't have enough diversity in it." Nobody talks like that. Nobody. It's ridiculous. But I mean, Ultimate Nick Fury has a following by now. Some people only know him as black now, but you still have classic white. Nick Fury, and all those people got was fucking David Hasselhoff. I mean, come on, man. Come on. Seriously. That ain't right. But my opinion was in this movie, it would have made more sense to have Nick Fury's grandfather in the Howling Commandos as a leader. When Captain America rescued Bucky in the Howling Commandos, you could have had a Sergeant Nick Fury, a grandfather of Nick Fury that was actually white, and that probably would have helped more to your diversity virtue signaling in the first place to say, hey, a white man and a black woman hooked up and they had Nick Fury. Like, but my whole point isn't their whole point with this whole diversity thing. My whole point is you had classic white Nick Fury in there, you know, and you have alternate Nick Fury in there. You appeal to both fans by giving them both incarnations of the character. But not only that, see, they skipped over a large portion of Captain America with the Howling Commandos, his adventures with them throughout the war. Uh, so now it's really unsure if Chris Evans is going to be back after Endgame or not, but he could always eventually come back. And with Disney acquiring Wolverine again and having this Hulu platform where you can still do mature Marvel shows, I thought, wouldn't it be incredibly interesting to have Logan, Captain America, classic white Nick Fury, and the Howling Commandos have a mini series that's like Saving Private Ryan. You could have the dark and gritty version of war, the style we didn't get to see in the films because they were fighting Hydra, who was using all these technologically advanced energy weapons and stuff. But you could have a very dark and gritty classic war movie or miniseries, and you could put on Hulu. You could have something that's like a band of brothers saving Private Ryan series, and you could put whoever you want in there as the villain, but you could have this really strong show, and you could have them like lose a member of Howling Commandos, lose a brother in arms. You could have this really fight to the last man standing style. Something like that could be really incredible to see. I'd like to see a show like that. I mean, as opposed to, I mean, I like Loki, I like Scarlet Witch, I like Vision, I like Falcon, and I like Bucky. They're all getting their own series on Marvel Disney, but it's Marvel Disney, it's going to be pretty lighthearted. It's never going to get really dark. And Daredevil, Luke Cage, um, that stuff was pretty strong for me. I'm not. Iron Fist was, it needed a lot of improvement, so that one didn't bother me too much. But see, here's the thing though, you could also include like Orson Randall, I believe that was his name, the Iron Fist that was before Danny Rand that existed during the war. They actually showed a film reel clip of him during the first, I think it was first season of Iron Man. I mean, not Iron Man. The first season of Iron Fist, they show a old film reel clip of a really badass Bruce Lee fighting like Iron Fist, Orson Randall, who had this gung fu fighting style in the comics, and he came out during the war like, and he was helping heal soldiers, and he became pretty damaged from participating in the war, helping soldiers out. He ended up becoming like addicted to painkillers and alcohol, and but you could also have him in there with this gung fu fighting style. You could do something really, really amazing, and that could sort of hold people over for these 2 years that Marvel's not really allowed to use any of these Netflix characters. Now, of course, something always could happen with those contracts. Marvel could throw down some kind of money or something to try to appeal to Netflix and change this contract or something. I don't really know how all that works, but I think it would be incredible to have a show with Wolverine and Captain America, the Howling Commandos, and a Sergeant Nick Fury running around during war times. You have this Orson Randall. I think that was his last name. You have this Iron Fist with this Gung Fu style, and you have just this dark, gritty band of brothers. Really amazing show. I mean, that could be pretty like substantial, award winning in my opinion. Uh, but it'd be awesome to see like Hugh Jackman reprise his role as Wolverine one last time, just to team up with Chris Evans in a Captain America Howling Commandos style show that's more like an actual war movie or more war miniseries in fashion of Band of Brothers and Saving Private Ryan. Anyways, let me know what you think. Uh, Share your opinion on this. Uh, what do you think of that? Do you think that'd be cool or what? I think it would be pretty awesome. But like, subscribe, comment. I'm not monetized, so check out my other videos. Check out my GoFundMe and PayPal link if you want to support my channel. I was gonna do a Patreon account, but they seem pretty biased on freedom of speech lately, so I'm not gonna get involved with them. Uh, anyways, stay awesome, rock on.